It's sleek, it's efficient, with aerodynamic, low drag styling. All this race car technology has now come together in one car that's street legal. That's an incredible feat.
Hey guys, welcome back. In this episode of the 1988 Supra, we have some parts that came in. We have the engine, the 1JZ. We also have a new shift knob and some new leather for the center console. And I'm going to be refreshing the stock wheels. So let's take a look at what we have. So I want to show you guys these interior parts first. I have the new shift knob here, as well as the leather. This is the shift boot, the parking brake boot, as well as the armrest leather. And these looked very high quality in the listing. I got them off eBay. And the shift knob though, I didn't get like an original one. This is actually a different look, but it kind of has that retro look to it. You can tell that this is like a new part. You can just kind of see it, and just the way it feels is very new. They kind of smell, they smell good. I mean, they smell like, I guess, leather. It's even got the Velcro. So like this boot is definitely, yeah, it's like definitely new. Take a look at that. So this is the dark blue. All right, so there's that. Let's bring this up closer here. It feels actually pretty good. It feels like real leather. I don't think it is though, but I'm not sure. Definitely not the original logo. So this is like kind of an old school Toyota logo. I'm not sure if any Toyotas actually came with this style shift knob. If anybody knows, go ahead and put down in the comments below. Yeah, that's pretty bad. This one has holes in it. And the armrest one isn't that bad. Like for the age, it's in pretty good condition. Alright, so just comparing the parts, here we have the shift knobs first, and here's the old one. You can see that it's just really kind of gnarled up. A lot of wear and tear. This is probably the original. It just looks like it's in pretty bad shape. I really just cheaped out and got this aftermarket knockoff shifter that is supposed to resemble like an old school Toyota shifter with the old logo. You can see there it's about the same height. I like how it feels. It's got that rounded feel, more like the 86. Here's the parking brake boot, and the first thing I noticed actually out of all of them is that this is more, it feels more solid on the new ones. It just feels like really high quality, but that could just be the age, you know, like just the age of the leather on these older ones. But it just feels a little bit thicker too. I mean, I don't know, does leather shrink over time? It's also a little bit slightly different color, so I'm not sure if you can see that on camera, but it's a little bit lighter and a little bit different tone. So there's this piece of rubber on this one. I'm not sure if I should take that out and put it on here. I probably should. Although probably not necessary, I don't know. The dimensions are really good. I think the dimensions are real spot on. So let's take a look at the shifter. It's like glued on there almost. Yeah, so it's about the same dimensions. This will have to be folded over and have to be cut in the right place to be able to fit over the piece of metal. The color is a little bit different, the feel is a little bit different, but overall I think it's going to look the part for the car. Literally falling apart as I'm taking it out. Yeah. This piece holds the shift boot up on the shifter so it doesn't sag. It should be butting up against the bottom of the shift knob itself. This part kind of makes me nervous because I do have to cut into the shift boot itself. And I'm kind of using the old shift boot as a reference as far as how much to cut. So I'm going to be using this Gorilla Spray adhesive here, and it says it's good for fabric as well as leather. I wish I had more of like a tube adhesive instead of a spray, but I had this lying around from a different project. Okay, so I think we need to just slide this in there. It's kind of hard to pull it all the way up to the top. And let's try from the top here. Although I don't know if this is any better. Alright, I almost got it. I don't think I can put it any higher, but I think it's at a good height. So that's where it's going to be. I'm just pushing in, pressing in the flaps against the side. So that's what it looks like in the inside there. This will settle in over time. The distance here between where I want to cut is probably lined up, so I'm going to cut it right here. So I can fold this over and cut it right here. So I cut these little two slits on each side. You can see on the old one, it had the same thing. Let's take a look at what that's gonna look like here. This will allow this piece here to fold in, and that will kind of just lay on there. Alright, so I actually let this sit for overnight, and you can see here that all of it is pretty much glued on there pretty tight. It is not going to come off if I pull at it. Everything looks good with this. I'm really excited about putting this on the console now. It really just goes in from underneath. So this front part kind of slides underneath this little, I guess, tab here, and these point upwards. Yeah, that looks really clean, really good. There you go. It is turning more. Yeah, the shift boot is holding it up. Now this looks like it popped down a little bit. Let me get this back up. Okay, so I actually had to take it out again and just kind of just push in and make sure it was secure, the bracket, because the lip back here is just really small. I just had to make sure it was tight in there. I pushed up against it. I also kind of bent the bracket a little bit. It was kind of bending downward, so I bent it kind of straight. But everything else is in. It's pretty securely in there. Obviously don't have a radio yet. Here's the shift boot, and here's the park and brake boot, and they look really nice in here. Yeah, it looks so much better. Got this tight in here so the boot actually holds it. Definitely on there tight enough. Now onto the armrest. First of all, I'm gonna start off by taking off the underside of this. There's some screws. I think there was a piece here that you kind of pull it up, but I'm pretty sure I took that off because it just wasn't grabbing on or something. Maybe it was broken. So I kind of just have it like sit there now. Okay. Okay, so that came off pretty easily. So that's what it looks like underneath. So if I pull on this, it's already, yeah, it's got its own glue. I'm almost regretting just doing this one because I feel like it's gonna get ruined. They pre-cut these little flaps at the end, and they're different on one end versus the opposite end. I feel like they left these notches out here to go over the bolt holes. So I know which way it goes. So the stitching, I think, needs to go as far close to the edge as possible. Pulling this over and pulling this over. Alright, so I'm about to start gluing it. I'm not going to put any extra padding underneath. I thought about it for a little bit. A couple things I did. I did have to glue this tab and this tab right here. They were kind of breaking off. These as well are, starting to get brittle. At first, I was going to fold these over the holes here, but just looking at how it's going to fit and how it's going to look from the top, I feel like this is the best way to kind of go around the holes. This is the front where you have a little handle, and I want to be able to pull this over here, so when you put the cover over it, you don't really see the folds. If I'm doing it wrong, and if someone else has this kit, please let me know, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I feel like it'll be fine. I'm really not sure how to do this. I'm gonna have to kind of really just use a lot of glue. In here, I'm not gonna go on the sides. I'm gonna go here on this face and on the inside. Same thing here, but not like on the actual sides of it. So again, I'm trying to get these corners inside. It's just not even though. I feel like this is a little bit better. This side looks pretty tight. You can see a little bit of looseness, but not a lot. Yeah, these corners, man, these corners are real tough. there you go. It is okay for now. Hopefully it holds up. So the next thing is this hinge right here. Like the thing wobbles back and forth. So I'm gonna try to tighten these little parts of the hinge just a little bit. So yeah, definitely tightened it. I just tightened the clamp a little bit so it's grabbing on it a little bit more. So it can still open smoothly, but it's not gonna be wobbling back and forth. All right, let's go ahead and put this part on the car. Got my bolts. These up. But yeah, it looks a whole lot better now that that's on there. I mean, this was already in pretty good shape, the old one, so this is just kind of like overkill, but this and this looks so much better. So much better. I'm so glad about that. Let's take a look and see how it turned out. Take this tape off. I wasn't really too careful with blocking it off because these are really old tires. So I do need to replace these very soon anyways. Not perfect, but let's take a look and see what it looks like. Up close. I already did one of the wheels a couple months ago, and this one I put a couple more layers. I actually put a clear coat on this and a couple layers of the base coat. On here I also did this differently than the other wheel as well. I actually put a primer on the back because there's actually more exposed metal here, but it's a lot cleaner. The main idea was just to clean it up a little bit, not to make it show quality or anything. They're just stock wheels, and you know, saw blades are really heavy, so I'm probably not going to roll with these too often, maybe in the winter. This silver is a little bit different than the stock one, so I'll show you guys the side-by-side view of the colors. So this wheel color is Ford Argent Silver, and it's a wheel paint. So here's the comparison. Here's the old wheel, and I said I was gonna I'll refresh all the wheels, but I think this just kind of took me a long time because I kind of took sweet time with it. Didn't really have a lot of motivation to do it. I'm glad it's done. And like I said, the other wheel was already done. Over here, done a couple of months ago, and a little bit of peeling right there. So I probably did the other wheel that I just did right now a lot better than I did this one. This was just kind of me messing around. I am so excited to have this turbo finally, and this engine, the 1JZ. And as you can see from this long hair, I've been procrastinating heavily on this video. I recorded the first two parts with a lot shorter hair, and it's taken me several months just to kind of edit and then get around to doing this. So I'm really sorry about that. I know you guys have been supporting me. And this engine actually has been sitting around in my garage since the beginning of the pandemic. I did kind of tease it to you guys in my garage build video, and I'm still going to kind of tease it to you guys today because I'm not going to start actually tearing it down today either. I just want to give you guys a quick walk around, talk about the engine, why I chose this one, and what features it has, and the price. So as you can see, I chose the 1JZ VVTi, and I am super excited about this. I know it doesn't seem like it with it just sitting here this whole time and just really not doing anything with it, but I'm really excited about getting this engine cracked open and getting it into there. But this is a VVTi. Why did I choose the VVTi versus the non-VVTi? So many reasons you can argue against either one, but just a couple simple reasons for me. The VVTis are a little bit newer, so on average when you're looking for the engine, you're more than likely going to get a newer, better conditioned engine with the VVTis. And then second reason, the VVTis do have more torque throughout the rev range stock. I don't plan to just really trick it out right away before putting it in. I really want to just do a stock swap and put it in there. I want to get the experience of kind of just how does it feel with the stock engine and how everything runs stock, making sure I have a good working engine without all the aftermarket stuff kind of getting in the way if I have an issue. I just want to kind of know that the engine itself, everything that it comes with, works pretty good. This one is out of a JZX 100 chassis, which is the Toyota Chaser. The reason I chose that one is because it had a couple things that I really wanted that would make this swap a whole lot easier. First of all, the ECU is a non-immobilized ECU. If you have an immobilizer, basically you have to have the original key with the chip in order to start this car. Otherwise the computer won't recognize it and it won't let you start it. So that would have definitely been a big barrier. So this was originally a 1JZ with an R154. So this ECU is a manual transmission ECU. So that makes it a whole lot easier as well as far as wiring. You can use a non-immobilized automatic transmission ECU with your manual transmission. There's just a couple things you have to do with the wiring to kind of trick the ECU to allow it to work. Having it non-immobilized and manual transmission made it so much better. Another thing is the throttle I have is fully mechanical. That's going to be a whole lot easier to work with than having the drive-by-wire throttle. That one that's drive-by-wire is ETCS-I. This one I have is just ETCS. The other thing that I was looking for but wasn't able to find because this was out of a chaser, which is a 4-door, is the rear sump oil pan. So this one is a front sump, which means I will have to change it out to a rear sump system in order to clear all the components underneath the vehicle. They do sell kits on various websites. And another thing I will have to do is when they separate the engine and the transmission, they took the bell housing with it, and the transmission I bought last year did not have a bell housing, so I have to get a bell housing from a JZ to R154. All right, let's talk about the pricing on this. I got this from JDM California Motors, and I don't live in California, I actually live in Texas, but they do ship throughout the country. The pricing that I'm going to talk about is related strictly to the VVTis, but you might be asking, like, why didn't I just get it locally? Is there any other JDM importers near me? Well, actually there is, but they just didn't have any in stock around the time I was looking for this. And I was pretty much set on getting one locally last year. They had a whole bunch, but they didn't have any around the time I decided to actually get one. So I had to go to JDM California Motors, and they have good reviews, so they're definitely a good company. The pricing for a 1JZ VVTi can vary anywhere from, like, the lowest I've seen, like 1,700 up to like 3,000. It depends on what you're getting with it, whether you're getting the manual ECU, non-immobilized, ETCS, which sump system you have. So anywhere between like 1,700 to 3,000 is what I've seen throughout various JDM importers in different states, also like eBay and Craigslist and stuff like that. So this one was more, let's say, halfway between those prices. I don't want to say exactly how much it was, because I don't know if they really want that out there because the prices always change and stuff, but let's just say it's between halfway of 1,800 to 3,000. So around there, more or less. Okay, so I actually paid a little bit more for this one because I have to have it shipped to me. So I paid a little bit for shipping. They'll ship to a residence. So they shipped it to me right over there, and they had the driver, bring it wherever I wanted it, basically. So they had the service, the liftgate service and everything. All right, that's pretty much it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. I promise you, next episode, we will start on this engine. I'm gonna get it started on the crate, hopefully. And I will also start breaking into it, tearing it down, and looking at what needs to be done. Before that, I will actually be releasing a couple videos on the FRS, a couple of vlogs as well. So stay tuned for those, and catch you guys in the next one. Peace.